let's continue with writing the unit test. And in our customer controller, we have the update customer endpoint next. So let's write the unit test for update customer. So here we are going to call the update customer, and we need to mention that in our when clause. And when thinking about what should we add into the given clause, so we are going to add here customer DTO object, because when we update a customer, we are passing a customer DTO object as the first parameter of this method. And the second parameter, we are passing customer ID. So I'm going to give here given customer DTO object when update customer, and then for this part here we are returning a response entity with customer DTO object. So we can add here then return updated customer DTO object. Let me add the clause here. So in this given precondition section, we have to specify one customer DTO object, and because we already did that in our setup method, so we don't need to do that in the test case here, but we have to give the customer ID. So I will give customer ID as 1L. In addition to that, we need to create one more customer DTO object, because we are going to update customer, and then we are returning another customer DTO object, which is the updated customer. So to denote that updated customer object, we are going to create one more customer DTO object. Let me give the first name, last name, email address, and password. And we have already added Mark, Davis, and this email address and this password for our existing customer DTO object. So we are going to update the first name, last name, email address, and password of that. After updating, this is the values for this updated customer object. So let me give the email now. So we have now two customer DTO objects. One is the customer DTO which was created in the setup method, and the next one is this updated customer. Let me use the updated customer DTO as the name of this object. So, and then we can use the stubbing calls. When think about which stubbing calls to write here, so we know like we have to write one stubbing call to call this customer service dot update customer method call, and in addition to that we have to write another stubbing call to call the customer service dot get customer by ID method call, because when we update the customer, first we have to get the customer from the database. So to specify that, we can write given customer service get customer by ID, and we can pass this customer ID here, and then for will return we can mention the customer DTO, which we already have in our setup method. So that's the first stubbing call, and the next stubbing call is the update customer call of the customer service. Given customer service dot update customer, and we don't need to pass any specific customer DTO object to this one. Instead, we can use the same approach we used in our first test case for the create customer REST API. So we use this argument matches.any. So we can use the same approach here. Argument matches.any. So that means we don't care about the value of the argument we pass to this method call. We just want a object of just any object of customer DTO class. And that's the first parameter for this update customer method. And this update customer method takes two parameters. First one is the customer DTO object, and the second one is the customer ID of type long. So to specify the second parameter, we can again use argument matches dot any, and this time we can use long dot class. And then we will use the will answer, similar to what we did in the first unit test case. We can use the invocation. We can use the lambda expression with invocation, and then invocation dot get argument, and we have to pass the position of the argument to return as the response for this customer service dot update customer call. So we know like this should return the same value which we passed as the first argument, first parameter for this update customer. So I'm going to put here 0. Next, we can use the when section, and when section we will use mock MVC dot perform, and then mock MVC request builders dot, we have to use put here, and let's put the URL. So the URL should be base URL plus the path variable. I will put the base URL first. Then I will put the path variable like this. and then here I will put customer ID because that's the value for the path variable. Next, I'm going to use content type and then media type dot application JSON, and next content. So as the content, we are going to pass the JSON, but we have to first convert the object to JSON using object mapper dot write value as string, and we are going to use this object, this customer DT object, and we are converting that to JSON using this write value as string method of object mapper. So this will return an object of result actions. Next, in then section, we can use that response object, and let's use an expect. And first, let's see the status. So if this is successful, then the status should be okay. So let's use is okay. And next, I'm going to use an do method with mockmvc result handlers dot print method. So it will print the request and response to the console. Next, I'm going to use and expect again, and let's check for one of the values. I'm going to check for the customer first name value, and we will use the core matches dot is from Hamcrest, and we will use the updated customer DT object and then get customer first name. So it will compare against this first name of the updated customer DT object. Let's run this test case and see the result. Okay, there is a error. Okay, we have used invalid method here. Instead of any, I have used any long. So let me fix that, and let's run the test case again. We can see the test case has passed. And if we look at the console, we see the HTTP method as put, and we see the request URI and headers showing as application/JSON, and we can see the body of the request. And here in the response, we see the status as 200 and headers, and also we can see the body of the response also. Okay, let's move to the next test case. In our customer controller, we have the delete customer as the last endpoint. So let's write a test case for that one. When we deleting a customer, we are passing customer ID as the parameter for that delete customer method. So here we can give here given customer ID, and we are going to call the delete customer. Then it is not going to return any object, but it should return 200. That means okay. So let's put here as return 200, and I'm going to put throws exception. In the given section, I will give the customer ID. Next, I will add one stubbing call. This is similar to what we did in our service layer testing. So we have to use the will do nothing because it's not going to return anything. First, I'm going to put the customer service dot customer service and then dot delete customer, and we have to pass the customer ID as the parameter. And since it's not going to return anything, we will use will do nothing from Mockito. So after the stubbing, we can use the mock MVC here, and we can use the perform method of mock MVC, and let's use the delete method of mock MVC request builders. And let's pass the URI. And we have to pass a path variable as well. The value of the path variable is this customer ID, and it should return an object of result actions. In then section, let's use that object, and let's use the and expect. First, we are going to check the status. If this is successful, the status should be okay. And also let's use the and do to print the request and response. Okay, let's run this test case and we'll see the result. I missed one semicolon here, so let's run the test case again. Okay, we see now test case is passed. So if we go to the console, we can see HTTP method does delete and the URI for the request. We can see the method that is being called, delete customer of the customer controller, and response here is showing as the status as 200, and here we can see the body with the message saying customer with ID 1 deleted successfully.